The San Francisco 49ers have a chance to go 3-0 for the sixth time since 1990. What about these 2 weeks should we read too much into or read nothing into? Steph Sanchez and I will break that all down and more right after this. I'm Jason Aponte. That's Steph Sanchez. This is the Bully Ball Podcast on the Gold Standard Podcast Network, the highest graded podcast by Pro Football Focus. Steph, how was New Orleans?
It was incredible. I freaking love New Orleans, man. And what made it better, of course, is just all the 49er fans that made it out. You have Cameron Jordan crying about how loud we were. I mean, and it's definitely not going to be the last time. You already know that. You know it's going to be lit in New York. Party it up with Jay if you're planning to go out there. But it's going to be a great time. 49er fans travel well. That will not change.
You know what's funny is I was saying that as 49er fans just generally travel well. When the team is doing well, they pop out even further. And that's just my subtle way of saying, yeah, there's always going to be, extra people. Like, we're back, baby. Never a doubt. Like those type of fans. But, yeah, definitely. If you're going to be in the New York area, it's up and it's stuck. There's a bunch of 49ers parties that are going to happen in this area. And then obviously the game. But, Steph, I wanted to ask you, speaking of games, is there anything more frustrating in fantasy football when Thursday night you start somebody and they get injured in the first quarter and give you a long, big 0?
I think what's worse is you got to see it for more days, and you got to know you're digging yourself out of the hole on Sunday before most of the games even start. So, yeah, but that happened to me. Like, I had Xavier Worthy in a few leagues last week, right? And you know how that went down.
Well, the reason that I bring it up is because I got a big 0 from Xavier Worthy week 1 in our league and won. I got a big 0 from Jaden Reed in week 2 and won. I am 2-0 in our sleeper league. Stop playing with the kid and shout out to Unc Keenan Allen, man. You still got it.
He's looked incredible through 2 weeks. I'm 1-1. I took the L. He said that's all right. Well, you know what, Jay? Last week, you actually told me, you were like, oh, I probably would have started J.J. McCarthy over Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Even though I won, by the way. I won last week, by the way. But
was right last week.
You were right. But I thought about it this week. I thought about what Jay said, and I was like, hold on. If Jay thinks that, McCarthy's a higher ceiling guy than Caleb Williams, I'm going to go ahead and start him and see what happens against what I thought would be a better defense to go against as well, against the Falcons. That did not happen.
Fantasy football is a cruel beast, and the word that I'm going to use is subterfuge. You have to figure out what's misinformation and what's actually true, and it's all a part of the long game. But the app that we do use is Sleeper, and that's the app that we use all of our fantasy football leagues on. Look, the NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance at 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. Use promo code GSP, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right. It's a lot of football to talk about, so let's get it out of the way. Rob, play the song. Hurry up.
Kicker update.
Eddie Piñeiro's better than Jake Moody. There's your kicker update. Now, let's get into this fact or fiction. I just didn't want that like popping up, right away or anything like that during the show. So, what can we take away from the 49ers 2-0 start? So many things changed. There was bounce back performances. Juwan Jennings was incredible in week 2 as opposed to week 1 while he was dealing with an injury. Trent Williams, Unk still got it. Maybe we should put that one to the side. But hey, let's get into this fact or fiction. Rob came up with a bunch of these things that we think are either going to continue, aren't going to continue after 2 weeks. What's our heat check level on them? So, Rob, you can pick whichever one you want to start with, and then, Steph and I will go back and forth and give our takes on whatever it is. Well, you know what? I think I have the list right here. So this is what a good
Got the
host would do,
list.
right? Let's pull up the list. Okay, fact or fiction, Steph? My goodness, where's the list? Okay, so many. The 49ers can win just as many games with Mac Jones as they can with Brock Purdy.
I think it depends on the games.
Uh-huh.
A lot. And I think this kind of goes into another discussion that I'm seeing a lot of people have. Nick Wright had this discussion, right?
Oh,
That
shocker.
yeah, right. Although, I actually found myself not disagreeing too much because I think there's one specific thing he said that I think makes the statement accurate. And it's that if you have a starting caliber quarterback can do just enough. I think like there has to be a baseline to the quarterback for them to have success in the system. I do think it's true, like starting caliber. You couldn't do it with Nick Mullins. You couldn't do it with CJ Beathard and career backups, But a guy like Mac Jones, he'd get it done. He looked pretty damn good out there. And yes, he does some of the same things that Brock Purdy does, and there are some things he does better. But I do think there's one thing that he does not do better, and that is scramble and maybe have like that pocket presence, which didn't really matter much in this game. It's the Saints. Their defensive line, not a world beater. I think if you're gonna go into that Rams game, for example, and you're going to try to win with Mac Jones, it's going to have to be under specific parameters. I'm not saying he can't have success against a team like the Rams. I'm just saying it would be a little more difficult, and you'd have to play within certain parameters of him getting the ball out quickly. That would, make it easier for him. But, Jay.
Fiction. And here's the thing, and here's why I want to go through this. This was so predictable. Of course, Mac Jones was going to play well in this game. Of course, everyone was going to start to ask, how can you pay Brock Purdy when you have Mac Jones? Well, counterpoint. Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub, Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. What do they all have in common besides being under Kyle Shanahan? Having their best seasons under Kyle Shanahan. Sam Darnold. And he didn't even play. So this is a quarterback-friendly offense. So when a quarterback in a quarterback-friendly offense performs very well in a quarterback-friendly offense, you're going to say that anyone could perform as well in this quarterback-friendly offense. The problem is Mac Jones is a starting caliber quarterback. Mm-hmm. But Mac Jones is not better than Brock Purdy. And I want to make sure I make that very clear.
Yes.
And when we talk about some of the things that Mac Jones does, it's a glove in hand fit in this offense. This was as predictable a narrative as any that I've ever seen. And it leaves out all the other things. And if you want me to, elaborate even further on the point, why did Jimmy Garoppolo look terrible after he left Kyle Shanahan's offense? Why is Nick Mullins never caught on anywhere? Why is CJ Beathard never caught on anywhere? Why did Matt Ryan win an MVP with the Atlanta Falcons? Why did Matt Schaub have his best time? All of that has to do with Kyle Shanahan. And when you become a shell of yourself when you're outside of it, and Mac Jones had one good year, and without him, and I'm not going to blame too much on him, they had Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator, and yeah, it's a bad situation. But why is it that when you're in a Kyle Shanahan offense, you play the best football of your career? And when you go somewhere else, you don't? Because Nick Mullins had us saying, hey, he's thrown for as many yards as Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes through 12 games. Is it because Nick Mullins is a great quarterback? No, it's because of Kyle Shanahan. So two things are happening here. The problem is that this was as predictable as anything ever. Mac Jones is good, but nobody's giving credit to Kyle Shanahan. That's the funniest part.
Shocker.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing in the world. You're watching Mac Jones have a game that he never had in his NFL career, right? You've watched Nick Mullins do things he's never even gotten close to somewhere else. Jimmy Garoppolo has literally never played good football after he left. And yet, we're not giving Kyle Shanahan credit. What's the bottom line here? What's the constant? So the answer is no. It is absolutely no. And if you're going to take the stance of, well, this is why you don't pay him all that money because you could pay Mac this amount of money, it's one game. And we knew he was going to play well in this game. Now, when he gets a chance to go up against that very vaunted Rams defense, they're top 10, by the way, if he does get a chance, then we'll see. Because that's when it's really going to be on. But no, Mac Jones played very well. I think we can all say that, whatever. This is just a long way of just saying no. And that's how I feel about it. No.
Quick question before we move on to the next one. In the context of maybe the next week or the next 2 weeks, however soon, Brock Purdy is back. So you got Cardinals, you got Jags after that. Can Mac Jones win those games?
Well, the Cardinals game I'm starting to feel much better about because they're missing every single cornerback in the league. By the way, on their roster.
That seems big. That seems important.
Yes, that seems important. By the way, it's Tuesday. Ricky Pearsall is about to go insane this week. No Will Johnson, no nickel corner, nuclear week for Ricky Pearsall. So yes, Mac Jones can be
advice.
Right, and if you want vibes, revenge game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're damn right Mac Jones is going to go out there and win. So yeah, for sure.
Mac Jones is about to step on Brock Purdy's toe just so he could start that game against the Jags.
I have the perfect meme that I'm going to send out right after this. I literally just thought about it. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay. I think we kind of both agree right there on that first one. Okay, second. Christian McCaffrey isn't as good as he used to be, Steph Sanchez.
This one's tough to answer. Can I punt to like later in the season? Look, okay,
do you want to pass?
I think he is. No. Okay. I think that's fact. Or sorry, I think it's fiction. But I will say this: like, I think there are some times where I'm like, 2023 Christian McCaffrey probably takes that one to the house. There's been like a couple plays where I've said that. But all in all, I mean, he is still cooking in this offense as far as what his role is and what his role is going to continue to be, especially as a pass catcher out of the backfield, which has been huge in the first 2 weeks of the season. And because also I've seen a lot of people talking about the run blocking, and all of a sudden the run blocking is not good.
Gotta complain about the offensive line.
Somehow, right? So first it was McCaffrey lost a step. Now it's like, okay, it's the run blocking. Just trying to keep up. So yeah, I think that is fiction. I think he's as good. I also don't think the run blocking is the biggest issue. I think they're inconsistent, but that's not really what we're talking about here. I'd say fiction on Christian McCaffrey. He's fine.
I'm going to go fiction on this as well, too, because his gravity is still there. Yeah. If you don't believe, or if you believe that he's lost a step, that's fine. I can guarantee you NFL defenses don't believe that. And if you need any sort of reminder, the Juwan Jennings touchdown, which is a massive play design and a great throw by Mac, and like, if you don't believe that the play design was so good, Juwan Jennings was running in quicksand and didn't have anyone near him for 20 yards, and he still scored. But everyone was looking at Christian McCaffrey running outside. And once those eyes go that way, you can send Jennings behind him, ball's thrown, explosive play, touchdown. If you believe he's lost a step, whatever, that you can argue that. But his gravity is still there. And that's what's important. And it makes this offense go. So if you don't believe us, that's fine. But believe NFL defenses, because they know when 23 is on the field. So there's no way that this can be, somehow he's not, worth it, or the guy right now. He's still part of this offense. He's still the engine of this offense right now. All right.
But you understand why I took a second, right? Because yes, this, like, if he lost a step, that doesn't mean he's not as good necessarily. And yeah, there was a couple times in this game against the Saints where you could tell Kyle Shanahan was using the gravity of Christian McCaffrey to his own advantage, and he's done that quite a lot. So,
by the way, Christian McCaffrey's this close to busting one of those long runs.
Oh yeah, he's going to.
This close. He's
right there.
Very soon. Okay, I think this is going to be a really easy one. Fact or fiction, there's nothing to worry about with Trent Williams.
Fact.
Nothing. Fact. Nothing.
Next.
Listen, Trent Williams is a game time decision. And he goes out there and
That's
clean sheet.
insane.
Clean sheet. Clean sheet. Man, I mean, I know we're used to it. But in the context of, man, we have no idea if Trent Williams is going to play. I don't care if he's going up against a college team. That's exactly what Trent Williams does against, the guys that he should. So, yeah, nothing to worry about. Never a doubt, baby. I don't know whoever brought that up. What a bozo. All right. D. Winters really is as good as he's looked through 2 games.
Fact.
Go for it, Steph.
Man, like that guy is playing on a different level. And if this is what we could have seen last year, all the other times that he had gotten hurt, I am so mad that like we could have had this whole time instead of Devondre Campbell last year. Could you imagine? But I also feel like just another year of him kind of, being in the league and now under Robert Saleh. Like I feel like we're all seeing everything come together for him, and he's playing at a crazy high speed. The game has slowed down for him. And he's just flying all over the place. Man, he is that guy.
The San Francisco 49ers is literally linebacker Valhalla. I have no idea. Different regimes, different scouts, different head coaches, different general managers. 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Like every single linebacker, basically. But D. Winters was so wrapped up in being Dre Greenlaw that he literally threw somebody out of bounds. I'm like, dude, you're taking this too far.
Too much.
Too much.
Dial it back.
But yes, absolutely. D. Winters, as good as he's looked, we have to start saying, best linebacker duo in the NFL?
I think so. I think so. They're right there, which is crazy because we've, like you said, we've had a lot of combinations of best linebacker group in the NFL with Fred Warner. We're pretty spoiled when it comes to that, but yeah, we definitely need a nickname for this tandem, I think.
Yeah. I mean, somebody will come up with it. Like they've already gotten one for Bryce Huff, and I love it. Even Guy Hayden said, yeah, he said he's saying that on the radio the next time. All right, next one. Diamador Lenore is a top 5 cornerback in the NFL. And before you answer, I just want to say this. I forgot Diamador Lenore played football, and I mean that in the best way. I never hear the guy's name called.
Yeah.
The only time, a good
thing when you're
that's a great thing. The only thing that I've heard him called for was that penalty in Seattle. They literally are not throwing the football at him.
Yeah.
Through 2 weeks, is Diamador Lenore a top 5 cornerback in the NFL, Steph?
I'm going to go with fact. I will also say I was actually going to defer to you heavily on this one just because, like, I know you watch a lot of corners around the league. You watch all the games, all 22. So you can probably answer it more accurately than I can. But for my bubble, I'm going to say fact.
And I think it's getting closer to fact. Patrick Surtain injured himself. Obviously, you have Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley, who did a very good job last night in Houston. There's definitely guys there, but he's moving in the right direction. Can we pull up Benali's point real quick? But apparently not according to PFF. So here's where the PFF thing gets weird, right? I watched the tape, and I saw that pressure and sack that Colton McKivitz gave up, and it's not on Colton McKivitz. It's on Mac Jones. The ball's got to be out. But PFF said he got hit with a pressure and a sack. In my book, clean sheet. Didn't give up anything. PFF graded Diamador Lenore 44 out of 100. I don't know. I mean, they didn't even
watching.
I guess you think that because a guy hasn't had any PBUs or he's not getting the ball thrown at him. Renardo Green is. And that's something else we're going to talk about. It's literally offenses are going up to the line of scrimmage and they're going into their game plan and says, am I going to throw a 2 or am I going to throw a 0? I'm going to throw a 0. They're literally going away. Diamador Lenore is taking away a half of the field for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start pushing him into that conversation. That's fitting my narrative of him being the top 5 guy. Okay. Next one. Fact or fiction? Bryce Huff is the best Nick Bosa compliment since D Ford. Bugatti Bryce, some would
Bugatti
say.
Bryce.
The streets are calling him Bugatti Bryce.
Yeah, that's a good one. This is one that I would really like more time to say definitively, but I think right now I'd say fact. I mean, just the speed factor of him. I think the only one like from the past years that I'd put up there aside from D Ford was Charles Omenihu, and I do think Bryce Huff is in the trajectory of surpassing that. You know, his get off is absolutely insane. That's why the Bugatti nickname works for him. And pretty much the game sealing play that he had in this one is exactly what the 49ers were missing for so long, right? Mm-hmm. And you're now seeing, and this could be attributed to a number of different things, but you're now seeing Nick Bosa get more one-on-ones, right? Mm-hmm. And we're starting to see the results of that as well. So, yeah, I'm going to say fact.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say fact as well, too. I mean, when you hear situational pass rusher, it's exactly what the D Ford role is. The only difference I would say between Omenihu and Bryce Huff is Omenihu's an every down guy. He was on the field more. But Huff is somebody that's brought in on situational pass rushes to close the game out, obvious passing situations. Really, I feel like this is true. The only difference, again, between Omenihu, Art, and Key is that they were on the field more. This NASCAR package, Huff, Bosa, Michael, Yetur Gross-Matos, who is flying drastically under the radar because he hasn't had sacks. He is literally probably one of the better players on this defensive line right now, especially in that package. But, yeah, I'm going to say yes. This is exactly what they envisioned with D Ford. This is exactly what they got with D Ford. They've been chasing it. They wanted it to be Drake Jackson. They wanted it to be someone else. They wanted it to be this guy. This was a perfect glove in hand trade. And, you know, like, again, the 49ers are doing things in the first 2 weeks that they were unable to do last year. That is, come up with a big offensive drive when you need it and close out a game defensively with your defensive line. And they've done it 2 straight weeks. They did it 2 straight drives, Steph, in New Orleans. And, oh, by the way, Cam Jordan is blaming Bryce Huff's get-off on the noise that the San Francisco 49ers fans were making in New Orleans.
It just gets sadder for the Saints, unfortunately.
That's so bad. I just would have said nothing. I would have said nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just don't say anything. The people of New Orleans deserve better. Great people out there. They deserve better. I'm dead serious. Like,
no, I love New Orleans. It's my favorite place in America to visit.
They were so sad. Like,
yeah, but they're good people. They don't talk crazy. They don't talk crazy. There's a lot of Southern hospitality. There's, you know, like, and for the tailgates for the Saints, it's 3 blocks. One is just chicken. One is just seafood. One is just gumbo. I mean, my God, like who wouldn't want to party with those people? I love that place. But yeah, hey, listen, hate it had to be them, but that's get off the tracks when the train's coming through, pal. Like, it just happened to be you at this time. All right, let's move on. The best acquisition this offseason was Robert Saleh. This is an absolute fact.
Dude, like, I can't say fact any faster. I'm going to go Bugatti Bryce Huff with how fast I'm going to say fact right now.
Oh, good one. I like it.
Yeah.
Look,
crazy.
I'm going to go super East Coast with this. And this is dead ass a fact, B. Dead ass.
On Jesus sandals.
Yeah, I mean, on Jesus sandals, this was the best off-season acquisition. I don't want to curse. I could have thrown in the real, like, I could have really made it East. I could have really made it New York, like, real quick. But I'm not gonna do that because this is a kid's show and everything. But no, look, when you look at it, I was looking at the coverage breakdowns and I wrote an article on Niners Nation about it. You know, everything felt like it was cover one man week 1 with a lot of the blitzes and where they were coming from. There was some exotic stuff that was in there in terms of Yetur Gross-Matos dropping into coverage and them putting Michael Williams in coverage. And normally you would say, why on earth would you do that? But it's because you're showing 6, you're dropping 1, and you're sending 4 from another side and overloading. It just, the creativity, the understanding of how to get your guys in position. By the way, Robert Saleh wanted to have Jair Brown on the field as a big nickel because he wanted. And here's why it's good. Because you've taken the coverage aspect away, you're beefing up your run defense, and the one skill set that Jair Brown has that cannot erode is his full head of steam, downhill running, and get after the ball carrier. You are putting him in a position where he doesn't have to think. He has to go. Now, it was only 7 snaps. We will see if that was game plan specific, if that was something they were trying out, if this is something that they really want to elaborate with. But the difference is, in week 1, in base, there was 3 linebackers on the field, Gifford, Winters, and Warner. In base, early on in this game, it was Jair Brown playing pretty parallel to both of those guys of Warner. By the way, only 2 linebackers played on Sunday, Warner and Winters. That's it. Everything else was either Jair Brown, a big nickel, or Upton Stout. So I wonder if it's game plan specific, but the point is, he's not doing the same thing over and over. And what you're offering and your personnel and your offensive identity, I can combat that. I have guys that I can put in good spots. So I think this is absolutely true, but you have to understand why he's trying to, use all these things. I think it's really important.
And I think as the season progresses, it's going to be a lot more difficult for offenses to prepare and know what the hell Robert Saleh is going to throw at them this week, because you're talking about 2 games and 2 completely different game plans from Robert Saleh based on, the offenses he was going up against. And then you're seeing wrinkles here and there as well that he's throwing in. I think it's great. The evolution of Robert Saleh is one that I'm really enjoying, and I don't want to see his ass leave San Francisco. I know he's already the highest paid assistant coach in the NFL. I'm well aware of that. Give him as much money as he wants, because I don't want him to ever leave. He needs to be a lifer in San Francisco, Jay.
He needs to stay at least for when Mike McDaniel comes back as well, too. Just put that in your mind.
While we're at it. But no, I'm going to say one more thing. On Saleh, though. And I feel like from week 1 to week 2, we saw a lot of good performances, better performances from the rookies, right? I think we can't discount how much coaching could have to do with that. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing this under the leadership of Robert Saleh. We saw it for a few guys even in the preseason, right? Like Nick Barden. That's coaching, in my opinion. These guys are good players, but you have a coach who knows how to use these guys, gonna put them in the best position to be successful, and obviously coach them the right way to make improvements from one week to the next. So, man, yes, fact in all caps, Robert Saleh is him.
Oh man, it's so good to have him back. It's so good to see him just hugging up on Kyle and everything. He looks very happy. Hey, imagine that. You come home and you're really happy, I mean, it's like he was separated from his household, and he finally, he reconciled and he got back, and that's it. You're always happier when the family's together. All right. The 49ers defense is better than the 49ers offense through 2 weeks. Fact or fiction?
Oh,
this is a good one.
I like that one. That one's spicy. Okay. I don't know. I don't know yet. I think that's a fair response, because the 49ers through the first 2 weeks have dealt with some injuries. It's some key injuries, right? Like Kittle going out so early in that game, who knows how much different that offense would have looked in week 2 as well. But I will say, like, the defense is way better at this point through 2 weeks than I thought they would be. And I did have pretty high hopes for them already. So, God, that's tough. Why do I got to go first, Jay?
Look, you want my answer? It's neither. And that's it. I know that's an answer. No, I'm not punting it. They're on par with each other right now. And let me explain. Okay? It's a wash. Let me explain. The defense has their hiccups. The offense has their hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
But when they need it, both have done it. And nobody needed this 49ers offense to produce more this week than they did with Mac Jones. And when the 49ers needed a drive in week 1, Brock Purdy gave it to him. Now you close the game out, but you can't close the game out until you get the touchdown. It's a wash. It's neither. Here's another good thing. Neither are anywhere near their best. Neither side has played any of their best football yet and still will be awaiting reinforcements. So the answer after 2 weeks is a wash. The defense lifts the offense lifts the defense, and that, my friends, is called complementary football, and that is something that was absolutely not happening in 2024. This one's a wash. It's neither fact or fiction.
Technically, it would be fiction because like it's a wash, so they're not better. But I like the way you answered that one better, Jay. So I'm gonna go with yours.
It's neither. I love neither. Benali P says, through 2 weeks, yes, the offense is playing with one hand tied behind their back without their quarterback and best pass catcher. The defense has bailed them out 2 weeks in a row. I don't know, man. Mac Jones went out there, 39 dropbacks, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That doesn't sound like getting bailed out. Yeah. He's never done that in the NFL. That's not getting bailed out. That's stepping up. Bailing out would be Mac Jones having 1 touchdown pass, 2 interceptions, and the 49ers only scoring 10 points, but the defense allowing 7. That's bailing out. But when you put up that amount of points with a backup quarterback, with Juwan Jennings, who's clearly not healthy, in that area, and Mac Jones does something that he's never done, it's a wash. Never bailed out. They're bailing each other out. And that's what good football teams do. I don't care the opponent. So, sorry for being so optimistic, guys. 30 minutes. Hope you guys are having fun. Make sure you like this and subscribe to the channel and everywhere that you get the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Let's keep going, Steph. Alfred Collins is just a guy.
That's fiction. And I don't just say that because Alfred Collins was one of my draft crushes and he was one of my favorite draft picks that the 49ers made. There was a true reason for that, right? And yes, I'm aware of the fact that it was a bit of a slow rise for Collins so far. And I still think he has some way to go. But Collins is one of those players from week 1 to week 2 that you see one of the dramatic differences. And you start to see a lot of the things that he was successful doing in college. For one, getting off his blocks, just being a guy that clogs the middle, takes care of his gaps like we're seeing right here. So I always had faith that he was going to turn it around and he'd figure it out. And look, it's week 2 and we're already seeing it. So he's not just a guy to me. He's going to continue improving each week.
Steph Sanchez is ever gracious with the affirmations. You're not a guy to me, okay? You're special. Alfred Collins is not just a guy. This is fiction. And the snaps are rising. And you're seeing, it's this funny thing, Steph. When players get more reps, they get a feel for the game and they feel better about it. And they start to do this weird thing called develop. So, yes. He's not a guy. He's one of the guys in the best way possible. Yeah. He is one of the guys. By the way, since we're on the grade of PFF, Kalia Davis getting a 33. What are you guys watching? The guy's popping all over the tape. What do you want the guy to do?
Who are they hiring for these breakdowns, man?
Nerds. But the thing is he's sliding into his role. Michael Williams is figuring himself out. CJ West even, but when you see Alfred Collins breaking through and having a pressure, having a quarterback hit, that's the part that we were like, oh my God, he's going to have to develop that. It's probably happening faster than we thought, especially in this game. So, yes, he's not just a guy. And Steph Sanchez is here to give you your daily affirmation, Alfred Collins. You're special to her. You're special to us. Okay? Not just a guy.
All right. Jay, you're special to me too. Don't worry.
Oh my God, man. Don't make me cry. All right. I haven't heard somebody say something nice to me like that in so long. People just say mean things to me on the internet all the time. All right. Fact or fiction? Renardo Green is having a sophomore slump. I'll go first if you want to.
Oh, okay. Shit.
If you want to, no. I'm just saying it because you were saying why do I always have to go first? Do you want to go first on this one? You got it.
Yeah, I actually do.
Go.
Because I feel pretty strongly that, and this one ties into another one that we talked about. I think this one is fiction, and what you're seeing is the result of Lenore being so damn good that Renardo Green is just being targeted so much. And yes, obviously the penalty that he had could have avoided that one. But I do think as the season goes on, he'll get better with those decisions anyway. But I don't think he's having a sophomore slump. I think he's just fine. He's, for the most part, he's played pretty well, but because he's getting targeted, because some of those end up being completions, I think, you are hearing his name a lot. So you get that assumption that he's not doing well. I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a quarterback and you look and you see 2 and 0, who are you going to throw at? And that doesn't mean that Renardo Green is slumping. By the way, Chris Olave, I want you arrested. Stop doing my guy like that. Imagine if Spencer Rattler put that ball on him. We would have never heard the end of, Renardo Green, because he already allowed 70. That's a tug. That's a wide open tug. Chris Olave, I want to make sure we're putting the word out. You can't do my guy like that without getting arrested. So I want to make sure that we put the word out. But he's going to be fine. He has the mentality. The coaching is noticing that, right? The coaching's not like they're not seeing that and just saying, hey, we had no idea. No, and they'll figure that out. And he has the right mindset. He's still a very talented football player. I guess he's just not used to seeing that many targets. And Seattle came out and they were like, we're attacking 0. The Saints came out, we're attacking 0. You can bet, and especially because they leave him out on an island by himself. Mm-hmm. You can bet Arizona's going to try that. They get Marvin Harrison on him. We're going to try. We're going to try our guy on you until you show. I will say this. He was much better as the game went on. Same thing, that we could say about like Dominic Pooney and others who early in the game had looked a little,
even
a
Mac,
little shaky.
You got to settle in sometimes.
Even Mac, why ease Mac Jones in with the running game when you can just start the game with 3 straight passes and put the game on his arm? Like Kyle Shanahan's just thinking way too far ahead. But yeah, he's fine. This is fiction. And again, through 2 weeks, I'm not ready to say that there's any sophomore slump, but there is a clear intention to go after Renardo Green. You saw it with Seattle. You saw it with New Orleans. It's going to continue on Sunday. Because they leave him out on that island, they're going to keep throwing the football at him. So I'm going to say fiction on this one. All right.
Like it.
Oh my God! I can't believe he just trolled me with it. This is not part of the. This is not part of the notes. Okay, for our audio listeners, this was not part of the notes.
Kicker update.
Dude, this is like getting rickrolled. Unbelievable, man! Like I literally tried to get this out of the way so we could talk about football players. For our audio listener, oh my God. Fact or fiction, Eddie Pinheiro is the greatest kicker of all time. The answer is no, because it's Dicker the kicker, who has now taken over as the most accurate. Yes, he just passed 100 attempts, so he's qualified. Cameron Dicker is the greatest kicker of all time because he's the most accurate.
Kicked his ass off.
Jesus
I can't
Christ,
believe
man.
he got me, man. I can't believe he got me.
He got you. He did.
I literally thought we were getting into our last point. This is why we have pre-show talks. This is why we got up early.
You thought like you were just going to say the one thing and we were going to move on and not talk about a kicker. I will say this, though, Jay, because it's okay. I'll take this. So you don't have to.
Go, you got it. You're our resident kicker expert. Go for it.
Not the expert. Kyle Shanahan had no change in facial expression.
He didn't even watch.
When Eddie Pinheiro made his kicks. Yeah, he didn't even care. He just kind of, all right. Not even a nod, actually. It was just like, looked back down his tablet. That's it.
Went right back to the game plan. I will say this. I will say this. After the missed extra point, I'm sure everyone started losing it. But all of those field goals, they were dead down the middle. They had no shot at missing anything. They weren't going to hit a post. They were all net. So Kyle Shanahan's sitting there like, hey.
Exactly.
He's like, I don't got to watch, man.
Exactly.
This isn't the guy.
And like Jacob said, he did his job. So that's what you want your kicker to do. Just do their job. I literally don't want to have to think about you.
Oh, but when I say that, I'm a hater. When I say that, it's, they're athletes. They're real football players. When I say that, I'm the bad guy. Look, I don't want to talk about kickers because if we're talking about it, it's a bad thing. All right.
Rob, next one,
Damn
please.
it, Rob. Moved it. Put a real football one up. Good God. All right. Fact or fiction? I can't believe he got me again. Upton Stout is too much of a liability to be the full-time nickel, Steph Sanchez.
I don't even know where this one's coming from. I honestly don't think Upton Stout is a liability. I didn't know people were saying that he was. I think Upton Stout is a rookie, who's undersized. So sometimes that's going to come into play, but you do see there are many times where he does not play like it, just like in the blitz sack that he had on Rattler this week. I mean, he was getting them down no matter what. And you see him on run support as well. He's incredible. So, I mean, he's a guy who, again, like Renardo Green, is going to be targeted, and he's just going to have to live and learn with that. And I think he will. So I'm not worried about him. I don't think he's a liability at all. If the 49ers were worried about it, which I don't think they are, like you'd see Chase Lucas out there, at least for some snaps, right? And we haven't seen that. So I don't think they're ready to give up on any of their rookies yet. And I've really appreciated that about Robert Saleh.
Yeah, the only change that you saw was Jair Brown on early downs, base downs, and I feel like that has more to do with trying to stop the run defense. By the way, I mean Jair Brown almost came down with an interception, but I don't think that means anything about their confidence with Stout. And when we talk stylistically and physically, what player did he resemble the most? It was K'Wan Williams. And did we get worried when K'Wan Williams was out there? Was he a liability? He wasn't necessarily asked to cover as much. What they really wanted from him was him to be an extra linebacker who can get his helmet dirty on runs and blitz. That's what they seem to be doing. If I'm not mistaken, I think he only gave up 16 yards in week 2. I'll tell you, and the answer to this is fiction. It's fiction. And, he's going to pick it up. I'll tell you who I'm a little bit more concerned about. That's both safeties. Marcus Siegel and Jason Pinnock. If I'm not mistaken, Marcus Siegel, when targeted, allowed a 158.3 NFL passer rating. For the folks at home that are keeping score, that is a perfect passer rating in the NFL. Jason Pinnock's quarterback rating when targeted was up in the high hundreds. That wasn't happening with Upton Stout in week 2. When they went to Juwan Johnson, it was when Marcus Siegel was there. Now, am I pushing the panic button? Absolutely not. It's Marcus Siegel's second start. But they're the ones that are likely in coverage going to be targeted more and have more responsibilities than Upton Stout. So the I'm worried about Upton Stout stuff has been tabled after week 1 because Seattle did go after him for, our starting safeties were getting torched a little bit by the New Orleans Saints, and there are better teams offensively with better weapons down the line, Steph.
Yeah, I definitely think that one is fair. There was a couple times I noticed Pinnock and I was like, ooh, don't love that. And then even in the preseason, I think it was in the second or third preseason game, we finally did get to see Marquez Siegel in coverage there. And that was on the touchdown that was it? It wasn't Brock Bowers. I forget who that one was against, but
touchdown. You talked about passing.
Yeah.
Oh, I was with Rob at the Mets game. We weren't watching that. I was too busy crashing out about Jake Moody.
Valid. Eating a glizzy probably, but.
Hey, yo, hold on. Rob, did you tell her? Yo, Rob, dude. What? As a friend, are you out here telling people that I'm raw dogging glizzies at a baseball game and yelling about kickers?
Whoa, no one said raw dog.
Oh yeah, because I don't put condiments on my hot dogs. Just glizzy and bun.
That is psycho stuff.
That was the weirdest thing. So I had to go get hot dogs, and I didn't see any condiments or anything. So I brought it back, and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see anything." And Jay never said anything. He just ate the whole thing. I was like, "What is this guy hit you? What is happening?"
This just went off the rails. I don't even know how we got here.
This is what no. We deserve this because we're 2-0. We're the content creators that are covering a 2-0 team. We can do what we want. We're having a blast right now. You know how many teams are sitting out there? They're 0-2, 1-1. Could it be me? I'm having a great time talking about how I don't put any condiments on my hot dog and I just eat it bun and hot dog.
Him doing that and then leaving early, I was like, I maybe need to reconsider the lineup here.
You need to stop telling everybody my business, pal.
Wow. Okay. So where's
Siegel and Pinnock.
yeah, it's like where
Siegel and Pinnock.
where did this come from?
So Siegel and Pinnock,
Eagle
and you were
on
trying
that
to
play. I was
we're
trying to
trying to
remember
figure
that play.
right. We're trying to figure that out, right? So you have the Brock Bowers jump up catch that was on Tig Brown, but that wasn't a touchdown or anything like that. So look, I'm not pushing the panic button again. Robert Saleh sees it, the coaching staff sees it, but it was apparent that if you're looking at problems in the secondary for that, people are going to look at Renardo Green, and again, we've kind of explained that has more to do with the fact that you're not going to throw the football at Diamador Lenore. But the safeties, they're the ones that are their literal name of their position is safety, meaning
Safety blanket.
safe, right? Safe, right? Like you know, like you don't even have to be a football savant and X's and O savant to understand what that means. It wasn't safe in week 2. Now, you see that, you have to fix it. Other teams see that and say we may have to attack that. That is something that they both need to be cognizant of, and both of those things can be true. But yeah, Pinnock and Siegel. That's what really stuck out to me, especially when I watched it over again on the tape as well, too.
Mustafa can't come back soon enough. I'm excited for Mustafa to come back, but yeah, I'm not worried about about Siegel though. I think he'll be fine. He'll improve. Kind of like what I was saying about Upton Stout. It's like he's not a liability. He's a rookie who, could get better on a few things. It's fine.
Can I get a little hype? Because we're done with Fact or Fiction, by the way. Thank you guys.
We have one more. We have one more.
What is it? Put it on the screen.
Offensive line one.
This is.
I'm gonna leave with this one.
Yes, you got it. You got it. Forget it. Okay, you got it. We're gonna have some fun here. All right, Fact or Fiction. Go ahead.
The 49ers offensive line has been just fine this season.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, they've been just fine. And you know what we found out through 2 weeks? Seattle's defensive line is really good.
Like scary good, actually.
And when I put out a tweet saying, you know what? I'm a little nervous about Seattle and their defense. Oh, you're looking and rage baiting. No, I know ball. I know who their play caller is. I know what their talent is. I know ball. Maybe you should listen a little bit more. So week 1, we have Trent Williams with 6 pressures. It looked crazy. But Seattle's good. And that was his preseason. Then we come over to week 2, and it's clean sheets for basically everybody except for Jake Brendel. But Jake Brendel was really good. Here's the funny part. The offensive line pass blocking wise, across the board was great.
Mm-hmm.
Pooney struggled early on, and I felt that was more against the run. He was just letting guys get by him. But Jake Brendel allowed 4 pressures, a hurry, and a quarterback hit. But he was the best run blocker. I don't understand, Steph. The part that is kind of funny to me is the worst pass blocker on the offensive line is the best run blocker besides Trent Williams.
I think it makes perfect sense. That's almost exactly what the 49ers want. No, not want, but like I feel like they would forgive a bad pass blocker as long as you're a very strong run block. I mean, like, for how much hate not Colton McKivitz, who's oh my god,
Ben Barch.
No, McGlinchey. For how much hate like McGlinchey got like before he left. You got to remember he was like a really good run blocker, and that's why the 49ers loved him as much.
And the Broncos have a really good line with him.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that crazy. It actually makes Jake Brendel being in this lineup makes sense to me. Just a little bit.
So the hard part about this is whenever you say anything nice about the offensive line outside of Trent Williams, people throw things at you that are absolute hyperbole. Worst center in the league, worst right tackle in the league, Colton McKivitz. I've heard people say things like that, which is absolutely like disrespectful, and it just, if you want to talk about the worst offensive line in the league, look no further than the Houston Texans. Laken Tomlinson's on that offensive line. They stink. If you're looking for bad offensive lines, look no further than the Cincinnati Bengals, who are turning Joe Burrow into our Andrew Luck. So let's have some context here. Now,
Here's some context.
2 weeks, and this is good. Not much pressure, long time to get there. San Francisco, 2.7. Matt got the ball out fast, as opposed to that one time where, that's where Colton McKivitz got dinged. But they've been fine. They've been average the entire time. For the last few years, they have been a middle-of-the-pack offensive line. And that's something that 49er fans sometimes have a tough time admitting or understanding. There are far worse offensive lines across the NFL. All you have to do is watch some of the games. You could have watched it last night. The Houston Texans do not protect C.J. Stroud. His regression and that offensive line have led to what you are seeing from the Golden Boy, who everyone, C.J. Stroud's the next one. And, okay.
Yeah.
Well, look what happens. Everybody needs something. By the way, Patrick Mahomes needs all the help that he can get, right? I thought the God, he could do it with, but now he needs weapons, right? But offensive line, it could be far worse, Steph. And I've been watching offensive lines be awful across the NFL. The 49ers aren't one of them right now.
They definitely are not. And if you're, more on the negative side of the offensive line and they've hurt you many times, look, I get it. And I get it's only 2 weeks into the season. So if you're kind of a hold on, let's pump the brakes on them being just fine. Well, hold on, let's pump the brakes on them being awful, So if you need more time, watch them this week. And by the way, Jay, yes, you said Mac did get the ball out pretty quickly, but there were some times he had a lot of time to throw and he was taking it. Yeah, lightweight too long. But we've talked about that as well, that's probably a result of guys not getting open right away. And that's probably a result of, okay, you're missing guys like Kittle. You're missing some guys sometimes. So, it all comes together. It's all important context. But I think it's important for everyone to know that this offensive line through 2 weeks has not been bad, even with that week 1 performance that we saw.
Hallelujah. Preach it, man. The 49ers are an offensive line that is average with a chance to get better. Maybe Connor Colby is the answer. I know that Ben Barch has continued to be injured and people are quick to throw around injury prone. What the hell are you going to do when somebody rolls up on your leg and falls up behind you? Is that because you were injury prone or is that just bad luck? I think we have to contextualize all those things. But for all intents and purposes, Colby gets thrown into the fire and he was fine. And so we'll see. And, kind of to push back on the narrative about investments of the offensive line, because that's, what we hear. By the way, I got to eat a little bit of crow. Roger Rosengarten is the only right tackle in football that has not allowed a single pressure through 56 pass blocking snaps.
Wow. But I thought we liked him. We liked him coming out.
We did, but I was kind of dunking on you just wanted to draft any right tackle. You just wanted to draft any, it would have been cool if they would have drafted Josh Simmons. I will say that. But who could have seen that coming?
Thank God they didn't draft Kelvin Banks.
Oh my God. Now you want to talk about it? See, this is the thing, right?
Bro.
So this is perfect. Investments, right? What 49er fans mean by that is they want first round investments. They want top end guys. But if you get Colton McKivitz in the 6th or 7th round and he ends up being your starting right tackle, it's a low level investment. What it is buy low, right? Let's put it in stock terms. When you buy low on something and you get crazy return on it, that is a low risk investment that's turned out for you. When you get into a stock high, when you put it on Apple, when you put it on Nike, when you put it on Disney, you want instant returns, and you have to put in a lot of money to make money because the shares are so expensive. So in that context, that's how the 49ers kind of think about the offensive line. You may not agree with it, But return on investment for Colton McKivitz, even with this contract, very good. Jake Brendel, they found off the street. They need to upgrade. Just in my opinion. They need to upgrade. Dominic Pooney, what? Second, third round? Look what we got. You got Connor Colby in the 7th. Boom. Starting left guard all of a sudden. And you feel good about that.
Value.
Right. Value. Right? When you buy a stock low and it shoots up and someone gives you a perfect tip, like, hey, invest in Rocket skateboards, get in at 12 cents a share, and you buy a bunch and they go crazy, you got it. But when you want Apple, when you want Disney, when you want Nike, you gotta buy more and you gotta put up money. I don't know if that all connected, but I'm not even good at stocks.
You sure? Because you were kind of cooking right there. Like I was like, Jay, our resident, stock expert here.
Nah, I stayed at a Holiday Inn. You never see that commercial? It's just like, hey, you're really smart. Thanks, I stayed at a Holiday Inn. It's just because I've seen Wolf of Wall Street a million times. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, so offensive line's fine. We're, for another year, it's going to be the sum of the parts. And again, pass protection and, offensive line play are directly tied to quarterbacks, who's getting open, what's the timing of the route, those sort of things. So I think it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. Steph, we have about maybe 4 minutes before we got to get out of here. Shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you're liking all the streams and you subscribe to all the channels and everything. And you subscribe to the Gold Standard Podcast Network, wherever you get your audio podcasts. The 49ers have not played their best game of football yet. We've seen it in bunches. We've seen it in bursts.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I presented this idea to 49ers fans to get hype about? The 49ers are going to play better. The 49ers haven't played their best football. Their best football is in front of them. And don't look now. Demarcus Robinson's right around the corner. George Kittle will be back soon. Brandon Ayuk is ready to go. Ricky Pearsall is nice. Juwan Jennings is rounding into shape. The offensive line looked pretty good. The defense hasn't played its best games. And they're moving forward. It's a marathon. All of the things that we were worried about, the wide receiver room, all of these things are taking shape.
Yeah.
There is a world where in Tampa Bay, October 12th, on the field will be Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, Kendrick Bourne, that offensive line, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Malik Mustafa. The 49ers have not played their best football, and everything is right in front of them because they've won 2 games that they would have lost in 2024, not playing their best football. They round into shape generally with Kyle Shanahan later on, and all of those guys are going to return. I am extremely optimistic about this. I don't care that they just beat, just the Saints. I am talking specifically that they beat the Saints without playing their best football. They haven't played their best.
It's the way they did it.
They haven't played their best football. And now you are getting all of these guys back, and possibly in week 6, it could be all of those guys that we mentioned ready to go and rounding into shape. I'm very excited about this 49ers team this year.
And you're not exactly seeing the consistency yet, but when you do, I mean, it's really going to look like it's clicking. And what you're seeing right now, it's inconsistent, right? Like you said, you're seeing it in bursts here and there, but you're seeing them at the right times, the pivotal times, the game-changing momentum shifting times. And that's big because they were not doing that last year. They couldn't muster up anything close to even being a competing team last year. And this year it looks completely different. So I get if someone's afraid to, go all in on the 49ers off of 2 weeks where you play the Seahawks and you play the Saints, but it's how they did it. It's how they did it that to me is weighing a lot, and it looks completely different than it did last year. And that right there tells me everything I need to know about this team.
And the reason, it's not that I'm jumping for joy because we just beat the Drew Brees Saints. I understand that. What I'm saying is no matter the opponent, the 49ers have not played their best football, and they will.
Mhm.
And the 49ers are about to return. Not just guys. Brandon Ayuk, DeMarcus Robinson, Malik Mustafa, George Kittle. These aren't just guys. And if you're putting it in the context of them playing their best football while returning high-end talent, now we're talking. So my optimism isn't because the 49ers just beat the Saints. I expected them to.
Mhm.
It's 2 wins against road NFC opponents, and you didn't play your best football in both those games, and I expect that to change. And when it does, it may be right when all of these guys return. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
It's good. I liked it.
We're good? We're good? All right. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. That's another episode of Bully Ball on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Make sure you follow Steph on Twitter at Steph49K. Follow me on Twitter at JasonAponte2103. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the Gold Standard Podcast Network YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed to the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio podcasts. Make sure you download that Sleeper app. Offer code GSP so you can make some money as well, too. Steph, hell of a show. I'm glad you enjoyed New Orleans. Thank you for not leaving me with Rob. Ha, I got him back just because he did that kicker update thing. But we're out of here. For Steph, for Jay, we're out of here.
Peace.